Shocking revelation. Illegal migrants in hotels are working for Just Eat and Deliveroo. In this video, we share a jaw-dropping TalkTV clip featuring Jeremy Kyle and the Sun's Brendan O'Neill tackling this urgent issue. Plus, we'll explore key leadership principles shaping the immigration debate. Before we get into the discussion, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel grow.
That Sun's investigation, the discovery that, that there are thousands of Channel migrants illegally in this country who, by the way, could be processed into getting a job within 10 minutes when they arrive here in their four-star hotel and they've seen a GP and been given a Monzo bank card. They can go and work and they can park their bike outside the migrant hotel, like an expensive electric bike. They can put their jackets on and they can go off to work and come back. They get cash in hand. I said yesterday with Harry Cole, when this shot out the news sources, Brendan, I'm into optics. If I'd been the government, not that this lily-livered lot would do it, I'd have taken those doors in at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning with the immigration services and the police. I'd have dragged those people and deported them, and I would have dragged, personally, those 5 CEOs to Downing Street and levied huge fines against them. You will not tell me that these companies don't know when they're giving cash, unless, and this isn't a conspiracy, there is somebody else who they are being paid, and then they're paying the people. They've got to know what's going on, haven't they?
What you've just proposed, kick down the doors, get them out of the country, or make them answer for themselves, that wouldn't have even been controversial 10 years ago. That's what nations do. They go after people who are here illegally, and certainly if they're working illegally, and they say, what are you doing here? Australia does it, France does it, Britain, for some reason, no longer does it. We've now reached a stage, Jeremy, where I don't think we should even just wring our hands over the government and say they're useless and everything else. They're complicit in this. The longer they refuse to do anything about it, the longer they refuse to get a handle on our borders, to stop the boat, to stop people working illegally and undercutting the jobs and the wages of ordinary Brits, the longer they do that, that makes them complicit. They know it's happening. They refuse to act. That makes it entirely their fault.
When you say refuse to act, I mean, I've sat here for 3 years and I've had MPs, commentators, all sorts of people say to me, they don't want to act because they don't have the answer. I'm not an intelligent man, but to me it's really simple. If you spent time telling the British public that we need these people to do the jobs, they're not all doctors and nurses, that's B, right? We need to do the jobs that, frankly, the British people who are unemployed don't want to do. Well, tough. Get the Navy. That's what I'd do. I'd have 3 massive liners decked out. I wouldn't allow anybody to put a foot on British soil. They would be processed immediately on board. And if there is any part of them that shouldn't come, they are taken to a detention centre, which is built in a place where it's not nice and it's not warm and they're not going to get a hotel. And sure as eggs is bleeding eggs, right, that message would get through very quickly. But more than that, said it earlier on the show, love your take on this, 4 million people claiming benefits. We'll talk about the Labour Party and benefits cuts in a minute. They're not all mentally ill, they're not all disabled, and many who aren't should be forced to get off their backsides and give something back to the community and the country that is paying them. They should be made to do the jobs that apparently only illegal migrants can do. That makes sense to me and saves everybody money. I don't understand it.
Jeremy, just think about the topsy-turvy world we live in right now, where healthy young Brits are told that they are too mentally ill to work or too weak to work or too soft to work, so they should stay home and we'll give them a bit of money, while at the same time, young illegal immigrants are coming in and doing the jobs that young people would normally have done. You know this, I know this. When we were kids, from the ages of 15 right through to my early 20s...
I nearly said on your bike. That doesn't sound right, but it's true.
Yeah, I had all these sorts of jobs. I was delivering papers. I was working in shops. People had to work. You needed work in order to get a bit of pocket money. You certainly weren't going to get it from the government, and you didn't want it from the government. No. But, it's a chicken and egg situation. Is it really the case that young Brits don't want to do these jobs? Or is it more that, the more that we bring in these illegal migrants to do the jobs, because they're cheap and easy for these companies to use, the more young Brits think, well, I don't have to do anything because it's all being done for me.
I think there's 2 ways. I think there is apathy nowadays. I think the companies are complicit. I think the government is complicit. But I do think that I'm sorry. I think there's a privileged generation. There's an entitled generation, and you're right. Listen, kid, we had to go to work. I earned $1.65 an hour stacking geese bananas at M&S from the age of 16, and hated my 8-hour shift on a Saturday. But that's what you had to do, because in my house, if you didn't, and my kids are exactly the same. My 16-year-old has started working in a restaurant kitchen. Comes about stinking of fish and chips, but he's earned his money and he's learning the value of money. That's in essence the truth. And I'm sorry. I think we make it too easy again, and I'm all for a society that helps people who can't help themselves. But the British people are now fed up to the back teeth of helping people who don't need help, but they're taking advantage, and that's another loophole. What in the past passed for helping people, which I think we were all very happy to do, has been transposed now into systems that have so many loopholes that so many people are taking advantage. And even that's been happening. But now the downside is that those very services are becoming so swamped, for want of a better phrase, that the very people who pay into it and expect to get it, be the NHS, are being screwed. I mean, I told the story yesterday. I met a woman, came to do a job on the house, self-employed, and she was telling me she had cancer last year, terribly scared, single mum with 2 teenage boys, never asked for a penny, went and asked, and they went, no, you don't, you earned that last year, you don't consider. So she spent 6 months living with her parents while she had chemo because they wouldn't give her a penny. But you can get all of that when you jump on a boat. It doesn't make sense. I don't even understand that. It doesn't. To me, that's. We can rant forever, you and I, but the British people's voice is about to be heard, and that's just unacceptable, I think.
It's sickening. It's truly sickening that Brits who need our help, Brits who've paid in and then they hit a brick wall or they have a hard time, they really need our help. They often don't get it, or they don't get it quickly enough. Whereas, as you say, illegal migrants come here, they get a hotel room, they get an illegal job, they get a wage while also getting handouts. Also, young Brits, as you say, who ought to be working but aren't because they've either convinced themselves or they've been convinced by other people that they can't work. They're mentally incapacitated, they're physically weak, they're not working either, and they're getting money they shouldn't be getting. So it's completely unfair on people who actually work for a living. That's the backbone of this country. The people who get up every single morning, traipse to work. Sometimes they like their job, sometimes they don't like them, but they do them out of a sense of self-respect, moral responsibility, and because they want a nice wage in their pocket. Those people are being screwed by this pincer movement that is giving money to people who aren't sick but that claim they are, and to illegal migrants who shouldn't be in this country.
Leadership on immigration is critical to a nation's future. Strong leaders protect their borders and uphold laws, placing the safety and opportunity of their citizens first. When they fail, allowing illegal entries or ignoring street crime, they become complicit in endangering lives and undermining security. Every law must fiercely protect citizens, ensuring their safety from crime and instability while preserving their rightful opportunities. Lax immigration enforcement lets illegal workers undercut jobs, erode justice, and threatens the prosperity of hardworking people. This represents a failure of leadership's core duty to safeguard and protect the living standards of its citizens. Leaders, the challenge is yours. Step up with unwavering resolve. Enforce borders. Uphold the law and protect your people from the harms of illegal immigration and unfair job competition. Stop the blame game. Reject excuses and lead with accountability. Prioritize the security, prosperity, and well-being of your citizens above all. What's your take? Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let's keep this vital conversation alive. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.